Okay, now we have to start. I think, I don't know if is anybody with any question from the creating the corridor, just the simple way that we created. Any question? No question. Okay. Now this is the corridor that we created using only single assembly. Okay. Can you please listen? Okay. We created the corridor using only single assembly, and what we are going to do now, I'm going to show you the way you can, maybe you have several assemblies that you want to use. How can you use them?
You see, when you zoom that the section of the road, yeah, as in every line has a limit, every limit.
Yes, I will just show you. Don't worry. Okay. Now, these are, I mean, the feature lines from the corridor that we created using one of the assemblies that you adopted from your corridor. I don't know, everyone has, because there are just three. Then what I'm going to do, I will just modify this, this corridor by setting other. Let's say we have started from 0. It's from 0 up to, this is the end point, 941. So we want to use several different, at a certain station, maybe starting from 0 up to 3, and 3 up to 6, 6 up to 9. So at every section of the road, we will be using a certain assembly. Maybe we have the, the lane and shoulder, or the other one is having even ditches. So we have specified them depending on the type of the road that you are building and on the area that you want to create the corridor with varieties of the assemblies. So what we have to do, when I click on the corridor and I right click under corridor properties, I have the information, I have the parameters. The parameter shows me the components of the corridor itself, what alignment I have just chosen to use, the profile that I use, the assembly, the start station and the end station. All these will be under parameters. You have other things that are there. Okay. Now what I just used, I used the assembly one, and when I just look on my assemblies that I have, when you just select the baseline, the one that carries the names of the assembly itself, I have this is the assembly with curbs, as you can see it, and this is the assembly with no curbs, and the first one just is renamed as the assembly 1. Okay. Then going back to the corridor, after you create the corridor, the other thing that you have to create, the corridor surfaces. When I right click under corridor properties, I have the corridor surfaces, and this, you know, when you have a road, you have the existing ground, then you have the corridor itself with the layers. Those mean the sub base, you have the base, you have the pavement layers, and then you have the finished ground. So the finished ground is just the reference, the finished surface, and you have the datum, which is just the reference connecting the existing and the corridor itself with its own layers. So that is what we call the datum. Do you understand that when I say the datum? Yes, just a reference. that there is something, it's like a line, I can say it like a line, but it's not seen because it's where the separation is for the corridor and the existing ground. So what we create the corridor surfaces, these existing surfaces for the top and the datum, so that we can include them together with the corridor and all those surfaces. So what I will have to do, I'll just click, I'll start with datum. Then do you see, I think you just see this is the create corridor surface, and this is create corridor surface of which link, and this is just surface name template. So what we're going to use, the create corridor surface. Then I'll just click on it, then I'll click add under the specify code. So this is the reference for the datum, so I'll have to rename it. When I click on it, I'll just write datum. Okay, then I have surface style. I have several styles, but I don't want to show the surface for it, because I just put it as just a reference. So I'll just to other versions there is no display, but if you use also standard, it won't be shown. Then I will click OK. Then overhang correction, this is the bottom link that I've set for surface 1. Then I will change to top under specify code. Then I click create a corridor surface, then I'll add the specify code, and this one is the top. I'll also check that the corridor surface style, and this is the top. So when I click apply, the corridor will be rebuilt. Then I will, because creating the surface, the corridor surfaces, I want to set the boundary for the where the road ends. You know, where the road ends where there is a connection between the road section itself and the daylight. Okay, so I have, after setting the corridor surfaces, I have the boundaries. I will just find them, and when these are the boundaries, the datum and the corridor. So we want each and everything to end where the road ends. So when I just right click on datum, I will add automatically to. So the other thing that you have to do, when you just create the, let me apply first. Apply. Okay, when you create the assemblies, you have to add the daylight, specifying the end of the road. So maybe when I click on the tool template, I have these are the civil matrix sub-assemblies that are in. I think we just saw them, but you have under basic, you can use basic side slope cut ditch. This is for the daylight as well, or you can just select from the daylight tab there at the bottom, or if it's not seen, you just right click and you find it from the list. So these are road finishes, where the road ends, where you just, I can say, filling at the end of the road, or maybe cutting or filling. So these ones can select among these, and if you want to know what it describes, when you select maybe one of these, when I right click on it, I click on help. It will just open the description of it for the specified daylight that I've chose, or if it's another sub-assembly apart from this, this is the way you can see its description, what it does, how can you place it. Going slowly. So this is one of the sub-assembly that I've just selected. When I right click and press help, it will just show you details on the one. Do you see them? This, hey you guys, why are you talking? And I'm teaching, you're just talking. Then don't ask. Okay, so these are just the details. So if you want to know, to see, or just want to learn more what it does, so how can you place, what are the properties of it, you just right click and click help. Right click and click help, you will learn more. So when you create the assemblies, you make sure that you create the daylight at the end of your road. Okay, so I'll just carry on. Now do you see I just added the the corridor surfaces, and you see there are some lines, you see that they're extended. It's because I have not put the boundary where it should end. Okay, and then I'll click. Let me go back first. Maybe I just select and select this one. These are the properties. These are the properties of it. The back slope, the material that will be used, thickness, or if it's you do not use more than 3 materials, others can be kept to 0. That's how it is. Then I just look, this is at the right. When I just go to my assembly, I just click there. So then I just change it to the left. Then I'll have to update my corridor, because there are some changes that I've just added. Okay, so when I click on the corridor properties, after I just created the corridor surfaces, then I go to boundary, I select the datum, add automatically to daylight, and the top add automatically to daylight. So I've just set the boundaries for the corridor depending on the assembly that I've just used. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to change under parameters. Do you see this is, I have only one region. It means using one assembly from the beginning up to the end, and there are several ways that I can add more from my assembly that I have created. adding to the corridor so that I can change at a specified section. So I will just show you two ways, the different ways that you can use. When I just click, this is the region, and this, the first line, this shows the whole baseline from the beginning up to the end, and the second line shows the region. It means under this region you can only change the assembly, you can change the station, you can change the the start or end station. Under the first baseline, because we have just created the same corridor with one alignment and the one layout, the vertical alignment, vertical profile that we created. So under the first line you can only change those, but using the region itself, it means we have, for this example now, that we have only one region, I can create from this several regions from there. Okay, when I right click on the region that is existing, I can insert the region before or after. When I say before or after, before this, it means to begin with the other region, then followed by this and several ones. Or I can just set this at the first region. Then when I right click, I click on insert region after, and I will have a dialog, create region, corridor region, and region name. I'll say maybe this is region 2. Assembly, I can even leave the same assembly because I can even edit after this. I will click on it, then I will right click, insert region after. This is region 3. Then I will click OK. So when you just look at the name, I have region 2, I have region 3. This is region 1. I will just edit it, region 1. Okay, next I have to differentiate these assemblies that I've just created. Number 1, I will just leave it with assembly 1. Then when I click on the second region, this is the second region, I can just change. Maybe I'll just use the assembly with caps, depending with what section of the road that it means you depend with at what location of the road we are going to insert those regions. It means we're going to specify by station. I have the third region. I will also change this to assembly with no caps. So I've just changed the assemblies to my corridor. Okay, the next thing, when you just look at the region 1, the start station is 0 and the end station is just where the station, where the corridor ends. So I have to edit. Do you see they are just the same end stations? So I have to change this. Let's say I start from, my start station will be 0 and the end station for the first region, let's say it's 0 plus 300. This is the first region. It means the assembly that I will use will end with this. Okay, you may just type, or you can, do you see this at the end of where the station is? Do you see this value? I can also click on this. When I click on it, this one, when I click on it, it just goes to the drawing itself. It means I can just select from the drawing itself. Okay, so the region 1 ended with 300. It means region 2 will start with the same. This is 300. So you can just start from there. But if you want to be accurate, when I just click on it, I will just copy this change and paste on the other. So when it means where region 2 will start, region where it will end, I may click from the drawing. Let's say this is let me go up to 6 bit at this point. So it will be changed to that change. When I click on it, I just copy and then I paste on that point. So, and the end point will remain at the same. So when I click apply, I will build the corridor, then I will click OK. So when I go back to my corridor, when I click on it, I think you can see something. Do you see region 1 starts from there, it ends at this station, then this is the second region and this is the third region. So the way it appears, it will depend on how the assembly that you use, you set the values, and other settings. So when I just want to view this, when I click on corridor properties, not corridor properties, when I click on the corridor, let me display, I want to send back so that my alignment can be seen from that point. So when I just press the cursor, I can see this is the alignment. So when I click on the corridor and I click drive, so do you see they are changing depending on the section that you place, what alignment you just used. So that's the one way you can create the, that's the one way that you can create you can change the assemblies. Or the other way that you can do, I'll show you, I think it's the simplest one even. So do you get the idea what I mean when I'm just varying the assemblies? So this one will depend, it means when you have just created an alignment corridor, and you know where at what stations will you change the alignment. Maybe you have ditch at one side, or it's either left or right, or you have the ditches on both sides, or you have only the lane and the curbs. So you will specify depending on what type of road you are designing. Okay, now I'll just go back to the corridor properties. I'll just remove these. I'll remove these regions, region 1, 2 and 3. I will just remove them, then I remain with the existing, the one that I had, and this was starting from 941 941.22. No, it's not. Wait, what I want to do. Hey, what is happening? You know the top one I can't copy because it's 0 plus 941. 940. That's why even 527. Now I remember. You know, I was just thinking about another thing that I was just doing. Okay. Okay. So I'm just back where I had only one region. So the other way that you can do. Which one? Huh? One? Yeah, it's what I want to do now. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll just do it. Okay. So I'll just click on the corridor, then create corridor properties. I will just create using the second one, but if you don't remember the first one, I'll just repeat it sometime. Okay. When I right click on the region, I will just click on split region. When I click on split region, I'll just be prompted to go to the select from to specify station along alignment from the alignment that I have. Then I know region 1, I'll just select where I want it. Maybe region 1 should end somewhere there. And when you just click, make sure when you click it won't just go back. You have to select the second one. Maybe after finishing so when you just press enter, then changes will be taken from there. So I just selected the first, that is the first part, and let's say this is the region 2 will end here, and I have only two. I want to create only 3 regions, so I'll press enter. So I will have the regions created with the stations. So maybe if I just want to edit them, I can just click and edit them from the drawing, or can just enter the figures, the station figures. So when I click apply, changes will be taken there. But you see, when I click on the corridor, it shows that I have the 3 regions, but it hasn't changed because I didn't change the assembly that I used. It means it's only one, but having 3 regions. So when I right click on the corridor and click on corridor properties, the stations are as I've already changed, but I can just change the assemblies by changing from their respective column. This is the, okay, this I want to with caps. This can be the just the assembly 1, and this with no caps. So when you apply and I click OK, my assembly will be modified. So the way it appears is how your inputs will be, how you set the information from the length, shoulder, or what type of assembly that you used. Okay. Uh-huh.
The sections of the road that have drainage ditches, both sides,
Mm.
one side and one, it depends on the total area.
Mm?
As in
When you have a ditch.
when you're doing the assemblies,
Mm.
you put that into consideration.
If you have the ditches,
Whether you're going to put the ditches on either side or one.
it means when you have a ditch, maybe you have a ditch after a lane, you just create it from the assembly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can create that from the assembly, but now, even though the road assembly in terms of curb and the length are the same,
Mm.
but there comes a difference when it comes to drainage on either side,
Yeah,
or drainage
on one side.
or drainage.
Yeah, it will also
It's
change
not
from there.
It changes automatically, or you're the one to decide where to make the change.
No, when you just, let's say maybe you may create it, maybe you may add the ditches after you created the corridor. It means after adding those anything, it can be any of the it can be any of the sub assembly. So what you have to do, you just you right click on the corridor. This is the corridor. I'll just right click on the corridor, and just click on corridor properties. If I did any changes, when I apply, it will build. Or the other thing, when you have done some changes, when you click, there will be one of the icon there asking you to rebuild, because there are some things that you have just added to the assembly but we are not there.
So it's you to determine that this is going to be one or
Yeah, you are the one who is going to decide, because before even you design, you have to go to site so that you can see the site conditions, how it is. Not only to decide, but designing a road involves a lot of things. It means there will be something like a panel discussion. Okay, this type of road is in this way. What can we put extra depending on the road itself, how it is. Maybe on one side we just need to put the guardrails. It means we're going to put them with, maybe from the other side it's the low side. So before even you design, you have to go to site and see the site conditions and know what you are supposed to do, because selecting the assembly will affect each and everything. What type of sub-assembly are you going to use, or what lane are you going to use, with what width, what slope. Anything that, any figure of a number that you add changes the properties of each and everything.
But now on the site you can't say that you're going to put the top of varies.
Yeah.
It varies, and you can't go on site and say that, okay, here I am going to put the drainage here.
Yeah, let me say something. When surveying is done, let's say from point 0 up to point X, I think you have already seen they just put the mark showing the stations. Start maybe at a certain point, or there are some, maybe there is a tree, or if there is nothing to display that this is what station, there are some like beacon that they put across the whole area that they create the assembly. The alignment where the road passes. So you have those points, and deciding maybe from this point up to this point, I'll create a ditch to one side. It means even the what station. So what you're going to do, you're going to enter the station, because when it is just on the service really like this, if you don't know the station, so you won't know where am I going to start and where am I going to end. So all those features must be known. And after all, you maybe there are some just few critical points. Maybe you may find you have to change a lane. Otherwise, you find the road section is just the same at a certain limit. Maybe after a certain station to a certain station, you have to change the assembly. And changing the assembly, it means you have to specify at what station. Is it understood? Any question? Okay. Okay, now I want to show you another thing, so that when you practice, at least we have covered Okay. Okay, I'm going to create that. This was just uh, I was just having a baseline, and I had the lens. So what if you want to add a median at the middle? When I say a median, do you understand a median? Hmm? Is there anybody who doesn't understand a median? Median. Hmm. Maybe you have a rod at the mid. You have the side going. Maybe I just go to right, and the other way goes back, and I have the space at the mid where you may just maybe there are some poles or trees are planted, anything. So that's what we call a median. So if you are asked to design a road with a median at the mid, how will you do? I'll just show you how you can do it, and then if it's two, maybe you want. I'll just do it one way. If it's two ways, it means you have to increase the lane width. If it was maybe going to one side, it's 3 point, maybe 3.5 is the one that we use. So what we're going to do, if you want to design for two, maybe on one side, two ways, you have to increase the width of the said lane. So I'll just design with one. If you want to design with 2, 3, 4, 5, you just increase the lane width. Okay, I'll just open up the drawing that is existing. Okay. I just give you the number drawing. I took the other one. I think I just needed a wrong one. Okay, let's continue. Then I have this is the alignment and profile. What I'll do, I'll just create the assembly, which are the median. So when I click on the assembly, I'll create assembly. May say this is the assembly with median. With median. If I have any description, I'll just insert there. Assembly, this is I'm going to say this is a divided one. Then I will click OK. Then I will be prompted to specify assembly baseline location. Therefore, this is my location I have. And then I will just go to the palettes under Home tab. I have tool palettes. So the first thing what I have to do, I will just click on the median. I have several of them. These are different types, and if you want to know to see how they are sections and just like that, when you right click, you just go to help. You'll see each detail for each median, how it works, how it is, how it look like. You just see it from there. So I will just select one or among these medians. Maybe I can just select even this one. The median displaced shoulder XT. So I'll just select that as my median. Then I have the properties. So these are the properties. You have a lot of things in it, you see. So those which are not applicable, you just take them off. But I won't change anything, so that I click on it and so that you see how it look like, and you can just edit from there. Okay, so I will just select marker point within an assembly. This is I'll just click at the middle of it. I'll click. So this will be the appearance of my median. Okay, do you see the way it look like? So this is my median. That's how it is. Then from there, I just select the length. I may even select for one side and I change it and everything, and I mirror on the other side, or I can just place them on each side, just anyhow just you like.
What about if you first, there's somewhere that says undivided road, then road, divided road, one can use the divided road.
I selected it.
The divided.
Yes, didn't you see? Did you see it? And the other? So you are not concentrating. You are not here. You have been traveling maybe to the other place. Okay, I'll just repeat. But I just showed it. Okay. It was just start from the beginning. I don't know if it's here. Okay. I started with the assembly, then create assembly. This is where I chose this type. Are we together now? Yeah. This is where I selected the divided.
There's another one that shows round, lambda, divided.
But they are there. See, you have undivided, the one with no median, but crowned. You have the planar. You have the divided crowned, and you have the divided planar. Are these not the one that you wanted?
I was referring to the ones in screening.
Okay, so they are all there. So what you select is what you are going to use.
So when you select undivided,
Undivided means no median. No median. The one that the first example that we did, we used with no median. It was undivided.
the median can't be displayed.
Huh?
The median
Hmm.
displayed in the apparent.
In there?
Can't be displayed.
No, they are all there.
Even before when it was undivided.
Yes. Let me you know what? Wait, the palette has each and everything. So after specifying what type you're going to use, then you will go and select the if it's divided, you are going to select. Let me show you something. Okay, let us just go on, then I will show you what I think you are just asking. Then I will create the assembly. I say this one, assembly 1. Maybe I just okay, let me, because I have that maybe with median, but I have to specify assembly type, divided and divided one. Okay, because we want to add the median.
The divided one.
Yes.
So when we add an undivided one, can we?
Okay, so now do you see the assembly type? When it is undivided, regardless that it's planar or crowned, it has no median.
So the median can't be displayed there.
On this tool palette,
Yeah.
it will, because this is the engine. It has each and everything. Even so, what are you going to select?
So what if I'm like confused, then I select.
Oh, huh?
And if
No.
I'm confused.
When you select it, it means you just see. When you select the median, it means it will be seen. You will see different things from what you wanted to show. So you say, okay, maybe I selected the wrong thing, so you go back. Are we together? Okay. So I just select the divided one, then I clicked OK. Then I'll specify this is my baseline. So do you see you have the assembly, basic, lane, shoulder, median, cuts, daylight. When I just go further, I have the trench pipes, these are the ditches. I have more bridge and lane. So each and everything is there. So what are you going to, well, maybe it will depend with what you're going to use for the time being. Okay, I want to select the median. I'll click on it. So this will be the settings. Then when I click on the baseline, I will have this is the median.
So you first do the median before the
Yes, before each and every, because that will be the center, then we'll be having rods on the either of the sides. So you have to select first the median. First you create the baseline, then you select the median by clicking the center of the baseline. So from there you just go the same thing. You just go, maybe I just select on lane. I have the lane. I can just click on the lane, then I will have the settings as usual. I will feed on my settings. So this is the right side. I will just click on the right side of the, so that will be my lane. So if I want to use a 2 lane, it means under width I'm going to increase the width. Are we together? Okay, so if you want to use 2 lane, it means I will double the width. If I want to use 3 lanes, I will just multiply by 3. So it means those lanes will be separated by the marking that we usually put on the road. Okay, after that I'll just select the shoulder. I have the shoulder. I will select the shoulder. From there I can just click on one of them. Then I will have the settings updated. So this is the shoulder. When you just see its name, it's a shoulder, and these are the details of the shoulder. I will just click. So that is my shoulder. You see? Then I will just select the daylights. I have the several of them. You will be practicing creating more and more and see. And if you have more, if you want to see the details, you can see as I just show you. So you can select among these. I will click on one, then I will click at the end of it. Okay, so you see I just created one side. If it's having the same settings, I just select them, and what I just do, I just mirror, and the center line of mine will be, I'll just click on at the end of this. So when you just look at the command line, you say select marker point within assembly for the mirrored sub-assembly. So when I click, now I click there. wait. Okay, I have the lane and I have the shoulder. We just mirror. Now I clicked at the bottom. Oh gosh. Mirror assembly. No, this is not okay. Okay, so this is your assembly. Okay, after I've created the assembly, what I have to do, I just create the corridor. Then I'll click on create corridor. So this is the assembly, the corridor name. I'll just select the name. Alignment, that is the alignment that I'm using. The profile, assembly, this one, existing. Then I'll click OK. The target is my surface. Then I'll click OK. Then I'll apply and click OK. So this is your corridor. Okay, the other thing, you see we have these lines, and if you want to have the details of them, what you have to do, I will click on the corridor, then under home I have the points. When I scroll down, I have the create cargo points from corridor. When I click create cargo points from corridor, these are the points. You'll have the coordinates at every point, whether it's at the edge of the lane or shoulder or ditch or anything that will be used by the contractor at site. These are the information that you are going to give. So when I click create cargo points from corridor, I will have a lot of details. You see, these are the details that I have. Okay, what I'll do, okay, you will just see it, because when you import it, you will just see each and everything. And if maybe you are not that much sure, you can just change the corridor to 3D, then view. Where there is an edge, it's where you will find the points. Okay, I want for the entire corridor, and I will just rename this. These are corridor points. Corridor points. It means when a contractor who is going to start a work wants you to give the information, these are the information that you have to give for him, because when they have this, others they do load them into those machines, and then they start working easily. Okay, then I will just check all. I will click OK. Then my points will be loaded. Let me change the scale. It up, down. Okay, they are being reduced. Okay, let me pick more. The X. Okay, so these are your data. These are the coordinates because when I want to export them, I can just export them and put them in a separate sheet. But the way you can see them, do you see? You have this is the center, and this you have these lines, as you can see them. You have the let me display one that is shown clearly. Okay, you have these values, but the way you can just see them clearly is when I just shift. Let me click on this. When I click on drive, select part. Here's it. Okay, I have something like this. So this is the corridor that I created, and you can see the mid. You have the what is it? The median, and then you have the length on the other sides. So where you have, let me pause it. Okay. Do you see the way it is? You have, this is the median. It ended somewhere there, and followed by the lane and shoulder. So at every line where you see there is, maybe this is the center, this is the alignment, and because our median, the median that I selected was having like a space at the mid, then going to the other sides. So all those information that you see are the ones that you can interpret them from the drawing. So that's how you can. And the other thing you can do, if you want to have the points, when I just go to corridor, I mean point under prospect, under point groups, I can just have the points that I use, that the point that I extracted after creating the corridor, and I can just export them as, I think this is not new anymore now. I can just set them in what format you want, you would just like, and at what destination we are going to save them. Maybe I just rename them as CP, center line, I mean corridor points. Then I will click open, then I will click OK. So when I got my, I have the points. So I have the points, and starting from the beginning, they are showing you the crown. The crown is the center. You have the crown, you have the crown base, you have several, you see them, where you have pavement 1, you have pavement 2, you have sub base, where there is daylight, where you have the cut to a daylight field, just all those information. And when you just go back, so that's how you can export your details. Do you have any question from there? I want you now to create your own from what I want you to exercise